Very good evening, everyone. Is my voice audible to you all? Kindly respond in the chat box. Yes, audible. It's Is it noisy? Not clear. Am I audible properly or not? Now clear. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So let me share my screen. I just shared my screen, and we have to open the document which we are going to uh, prepare every day. So we are going to store every concept in that document. All right. So this is the front end training. Yes, we discussed document object model. Yeah, sure. Yes, we discussed document object model. We discussed various functions in it. Those are document.y, document.get elements by tag name, document.get elements by class name, document.get element by ID, text content, and inner HTML. These are the topics we covered in the last session. Of course, you are aware of these functions. You clearly understood what are the concepts we discussed yesterday. Sir, disable, yes, 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 we did already, right? So disable copy, yes, yes. So I will do one thing. So we have to write some kind of events in JavaScript. So I will explain you how to disable the copy, cut, and selection options by using jQuery, because we have to discuss about the event listeners. So yesterday we already focused on this, and we came to understand that we have to create few kinds of events for disabling. So if you observe this, each and every content is available in the body section. So when we are going to disable the content or copy, cut, paste, we have to write query to the body section. So for that we have to use events in JavaScript. But I will explain how to do that in jQuery, because writing events is a longest procedure. So it will take most of the time. I will explain the events listeners as well as the JavaScript coding part also when we are going to complete all the stuff that is related to the events. But today I will show you how to do that by using jQuery. Most of the cases we are using jQuery for disabling the cut, paste, and selection options. So not only cut paste, we are able to see how to disable right click option, because when we are going to right click on any kind of web page, we are able to see inspect element. If you observe this, here we are able to see inspect, and based on this we can observe what kind of information is available in the web page, how many divisions are there and how many styles are there. All the stuff is available. For avoiding this, we have to disable the right click also. The most important is we have to disable the right click option. Very clear. So I will explain the jQuery and how we are going to disable that. So for that we have to download the jQuery first. So let me open the coding part. So we have a text editor already, that is Visual Studio Code. I'm going to open this once. So Visual Studio Code. Now it's open, so we have to open the project folder. So a project folder is available in the desktop environment with the name of project. So let me open the desktop environment from here, and here we have to select the project. So this is our project. It's going to open within few moments. So this is all we discussed, but we used some kind of event, right? So if you observe this, on copy, this is one kind of event, but we needed to write like this. I already know when we are going to observe, when we are going to apply this on copy, it not accepts anywhere. So we have to write some kind of event. It will take a few moments of time. So it will a longest process to write this. So that is the reason I'm going to use a jQuery for your reference. Once we are completed the events concept, then definitely we will do JavaScript. So let me use the jQuery. So jQuery is one of the important library for JavaScript. So we can simplify the JavaScript modules by using this jQuery. So JavaScript modules are already implemented by using jQuery. We have to use them properly. That's it. We need not to write entire code. We need not to know entire coding part. So that is very, very important. So this is very easiest procedure to handling events. So that is the reason I'm using this. So that is jQuery. I'm going to download the latest version. I'm using the download jQuery. That's it. And we are able to see download jQuery and jQuery. All right. So the jQuery page is open. All right. So here we have to download. So we are able to see different kinds of options. So download compressed production 3.1. Download the uncompressed development jQuery 3.5.1. Download the map file, and here we are able to see Ajax calls. So first of all, I would like to use this download the compress, the first syntax, the first href. I'm going to click on this. This is the jQuery code. So this is the jQuery code. I'm going to copy the entire stuff. So we can click on Control A for selecting all the stuff of this file, and we have to copy this first. So I selected this by using Control A, and I'm going to copy this by using Control C, and I'm going to paste it in my coding part. So this is the coding, and I'm going to use a new folder. Use something like JS. So that is JavaScript, and I'm going to create a new file, that is jQuery.js. So I just used jQuery.js, and I'm going to paste it here. I just pasted all the stuff which were copied recently from the jQuery official website. Alright, let me save this, and we have to include it in index.html. So as we discussed earlier, we can include the jQuery or JavaScript functionalities anywhere on the HTML document. Yes, so I would like to include that in the head part by using script element, script, and I'm going to use SC. So that is available in JS folder. Name is jQuery.js. So finally we included this. And now we have to disable the coding part. So the right click and some of the events. So when we're going to write any kind of event, so we have to use document. In jQuery we have to use document. This is very simple. So I'm going to use dollar, and we have to use document for starting the procedures with jQuery, and we have to use ready function. Ready, and I'm going to use a function. This is an arrow function. I just used this. This is the ready function, and here I'm going to apply the styles to the body part, because here the body is the key role. So I'm going to use dollar, and I'm going to use body part, and we have to bind two events together. So I'm going to bind few events. Those are something like cut, copy and paste, copy and paste. So again we have to write a function for this. So I'm going to use e as the parameter for this. So this is an arrow function. Okay. So here I'm going to use e dot prevent default. I just used to prevent default. This is a JavaScript function, not a jQuery function. This is a JavaScript function. I just used prevent default function. Please wait for a moment. So I'm getting a call. Janardhan, JavaScript part is not at all completed. Yes. So jQuery is nothing. This is a simplistic JavaScript library. So for handling such kind of events, we code. So for simplifying this, we have to use jQuery. So few kinds of JavaScript modules are already implemented in jQuery. That is the reason this is easiest procedure. So I will explain the same procedure how to handle the cut, copy, paste and right click by using JavaScript event handlers. You don't worry about it. Definitely I will explain and I will show you how to do that. So this is for just a reference how we are going to do the same kind of operations by using jQuery. So by using jQuery we can simplify that within 2 lines. But when we are going to use JavaScript it will take a larger code. So we have to write some kind of events. That is the reason when we are going to complete the events procedure, definitely we will do the task. Okay, so what will we do here? So we just implemented, yes, prevent default. So cut, copy, paste. So these three are the events. So again, we have to use these three events for the JavaScript also. So there is no difference, but the difference is we can bind these two categories, these three together. So, but when we are going to use JavaScript, we have to write the event listeners for each and every cut, copy, and paste. Alright, so let me save this and execute in the browser once. So our code is available in desktop, so this project, and this is the index.html. I'm going to open this. So let me copy this and let me open the console. Yes, we are not able to paste it now. So this is not copied. When we are going to copy this, we are not able to paste it here. If you observe this, we are able to see some kind of other stuff. This is not copied to the clipboard. Previously, this is copied from jQuery. We already copied. So when we are going to click on this, we are able to see inspect now. Now it's time to disable the event. So right click. So this is the body part. So we have to write this again. So for that, what we have to do, we do one thing. We have to use again $body. So for this, we have to use, for disabling right click, we have to use context menu. Context menu is nothing but it shows all the categories, that is inspect, copy, paste, properties, all the stuff. So these all are combined together called as context menu. We have to use context menu here. So when we are going to use context menu, that is right click, we have to write some kind of event for this. Context menu. Again, we have to implement a function. Again, we have to pass the parameter. I'm going to pass the parameter. And here we have to use return false directly. Alright. So let me see this and execute in the browser again. So we have to refresh. And let me right click. No, right click is not working now. Right click is not working. So left click is working, but right click is not working. So we are not able to see, yes, here it's working, right? No, not working. This is, yes, it's not working. So here when we are going to click on 2 times, so the body part is completed. That is the reason inside, right side, we are able to see some kinds of. So when we are going to click right side, right click and left click together, like this. So I just clicked on both left click and right click. Now it's working. So when we are going to click the right click only, it's not working. So let me refresh this. No. Yes, it's not working now. It's not working. When we are going to click on 2 times, or when we are going to click 2 buttons together, that is left click and right click, then it's opening. Now I'm going to click on right click. Now it's not opening. Even I'm going to select this and copy this. Even we are not able to open that right click. So let me copy this information and paste it anywhere. We are not able to paste this stuff. So we are not able to copy that and we are not able to paste that. So I will send you the code also. This is the coding part for this. If you want to disable the right click, cut, copy, paste, we can use jQuery. So, but we can do that by using JavaScript also, but we have to write event listeners. So I will show you how to implement that also, don't worry about it. So this is all about the disabling cut, copy, paste and in JavaScript. Is that clear everyone? Yes. Okay. So we will do that in practically by using JavaScript also. We have few kinds of event listeners available in JavaScript. By using them, we can do that. Don't worry about it. So first of all, from today's session, we have to discuss about the array functions. So we discussed the the document object model. Now it's time to discuss the concept of array functions. So query. So we no need. And I'm going to open the console window now. So from here we can execute JavaScript programs. We already know about it. So here we have to discuss the JavaScript array functions. That is very, very important. So first of all, we have to know how to create an array. Alright, so we already know about it. So we have to use var keyword and we have to use array name. I just used array. And I'm going to use something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is an array. So this is an array. So if you want to get information from this array or if you want to iterate this array, what we have to do? We have to use the index value. We have to use the index value. So the index value, for example, we have to use array name and we have to use the index value. So if you are using the 0 as the index value, we can get the first value of it, or the first element of an array. So this is the first element of an array because the indexes are starting from 0. Similarly, when we are going to use array 2, so that is the third element because 0, 1, 2, 2 is a third element and 2 is a third index and we can get the third element from the array. Similarly, if you want to get information or if you want to iterate on the elements of an array, we have to use for loop. We know that. So we have to use for loop and we have to use where I equals to 0 because the array indexes are starting from 0. That is the reason we initialized the I value with 0. And we have to use I less than array.length. And we have to use post increment, that is I++. Alright, so we have to use the console.log statement. So console.log and I'm going to use array name along with the index value, that is I. So we have to use this for iterating all the elements of an array. So what we are going to do here, so we used where I equals to 0, I less than array.length and I++. When we are going to use equals to symbol here, I less than equals to length. So the condition matches when the array length is equals to the I value. But the limit, the array limit gets exceeded. That is the reason we have to use I less than equals to length of array. So let me execute this. Now we are able to see all the elements are iterated from the array. This is very clear. Very similar to this, I am going to use same kind of array. That is array, we have few kinds of elements available in this. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I am going to print all the elements in reverse order. So that means we have to start with the last index of the array. So for that we have to use for where I equals to array dot length, and what we have to do? So we have to check the condition. So when the I value, that is less than or equals to 0, and what we have to do? No, this is the greater than equals to, right? So we have to check this condition. So I value greater than or equals to 0, then only we can do the iterations, and we have to do the pre-increment or pre-decrement. So this is the decrement operator, and from here we have to use console.log statement again. Here we have to display the array along with the I value. I indicates the index, and the I is starting from array.length. So we have to start with -1 because array.length exceeds the index limit. Because here once, if you observe this, the array length is 8, but the index value is ends with 7. Index value ends with 7. So that is the reason I used array.length -1. So now if you observe this, the output, we are able to print all the elements in reverse order: 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is how we are going to iterate the elements of an array by using for loop. This is traditional for loop. So we know already about this. So we can do that by using for loop. We already know about this. We are doing that by using C language, jQuery, not jQuery, Java. So C++, Java, and the same procedure we are going to proceed for iterating all the elements from an array. So this is very traditional and it is very simple to use. Now I am going to use the same kind of array. I am going to use a higher order function. So we have a higher order function for iterating all the elements of an array. For that, what we have to do? We have to use array, and the function is map. By using this map function, we can iterate all the elements of an array. Alright, for that we have to use a callback function. So I'm going to use a callback function, and it's time to use the arrow. I'm going to use an arrow, that's it. So now each and every value from this will be stored in this I. So let me iterate all the elements by using this. So we have to use console.log statement again, console.log, and I'm going to use I. So I holds each and every element of an array. So we have 8 elements in the array. This I holds each and every element of the array. Once if you print this, we're able to see all the elements: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is all about the map function. By using map function, we can iterate all the elements of an array. So it accepts another function as an argument. If you observe this, this is another function. Map function accepts another function as an argument. So that is the reason map is one of the examples for higher order functions. This is all about the map function. We are not able to print the array elements in reverse order. The main goal is to iterate the array elements in the ascending order. So we are not able to iterate all the elements of an array in reverse order by using map. We are not able to do that. We can iterate the values directly, that's it. That is the importance of map. But when we are going to use map function, we need not to mention any kind of initial statement, condition, or increment or decrement. We can iterate all the elements of an array directly without using any kind of 3 operations as we used in for loop. So this is all about the map function. And similarly we have another function. So for example, let me use this array, and I am going to use a foreign function. So we have 2 more functions available in JavaScript. Those are foreign and for. By using those also, we can iterate all the elements from an array. So is it clear, everyone? we do not want to print 1. So what is that, sir? If we shortcut for inspect, then how to stop? You can use the same shortcut key again. Purna sir, you can use Ctrl Shift I again. It's been pleasure to have you on the session. Thank you, Chetan. And we do not want to print 1. So we in that code, we do not want to print 1. Where is that? Okay, I can understand. Here we used map function, right? In the map function, if you don't want to print 1, so we have to use, that's it. So map function is nothing but we can the elements. That's it. So if you want to eliminate this, so we can use the condition statements. Map is nothing but map function is for iterating all the elements. That's it. Okay, so now map function is completed. The next one is index. So I'm going to use in. In is nothing but index. So I'm going to use for, and we have to use parenthesis. For is a function, right? So for I in, I'm going to use array again. For I in array, I'm going to print all the I values. I indicates the index values of it. I is nothing but the index value. So we are using I and we are using in. When we are going to use in, we can get all the index values. For example, let me use I here. And now we are able to see all the index values 0 to 7. So we are able to see 0 to 7, all the index values. But instead, if you want to get the exact elements, we have to use for of. So let me use for of. I'm going to use for and I of array. So let me going to print this again. So that is console.log, and I'm going to print the I value here. So if you observe this, we are able to see all the values. So this is one kind of iteration. If you want to get the values, we can use the of function, or if you want to get index value, we can use for I in function for in. Okay, and the next one, this is the most important one for iteration, that is for each. For each accepts 3 parameters. So we did by using a map function. So we can able to see the values of a specific element, specific array by using map function. So we used map function like this, array.map function, and we used some kind of function, right? Function and I. And when we are going to print this, no. When we are going to print this, we can use console.log statement, and we have to use I value in it. So we can get all the values here. So array.map function, where is that? What happened? Yes, we used a function, right? So we need to use array again. Alright. Now we are able to see all the values. So this is very similar when we are going to use arrow function. So arrow function and this anonymous function are the same. We already discussed about it. So I used array.map. In that I used anonymous function along with a parameter function I, and I am going to print console.log I. Very similar to this, I am going to use another map function. For example, here we used map function like this, right? Array.map and function I, and I am going to use j here. What will happen? So here we are passing 2 parameters. The first value indicates the elements of the array, and second one indicates the index of the array. For example, I am going to use I is having the index of, and we have to use j here. So we are just using the concatenate operators here. So for concatenating the string along with the specific values, those are array element and the array index. So let me run this. Now we are able to see 1 is having the index of 0, 2 is having the index of 1, 3 is having the index of 2, 4 is having the index of 3, etc. This is all about the map function. So by using map function, we can pass two parameters and we can get the values as well as the indexes of an array. This is all about map function. We can pass maximum of two parameters in the map function as a parameter. Similarly, now the most important function, that is for each function. So I am going to use array again, and we have to use for each. E is capital. For each, E is capital, and we can use multiple parameters for this. We can use three parameters. The first one is value. The first one is value, and the second one is index, and the third one is the array. So this is the array. So it accepts three parameters, but we have to bind these three parameters together. So what we have to do, we have to use the functional parenthesis for binding these three. I just used binding statement. So I binded these three values together. These three are the parameters: value, index, and array. So I'm going to use the arrow symbol. Right. So now we have to know the importance of the value, the index, and the array. Value is nothing but we can get an element of an array. Index is nothing but we can get the index value of an element. Array is nothing but we can get entire array. So this is the three parameters importance of the for each, and let me print values by using console.log statement. I'm going to use console.log, and we can pass maximum of three parameters. The first one is value. So I'm going to use is having the index of. So we know the index of, so we have to specify the index. What is the index? So index is represents the index parameter. The index parameter represents the actual index of an element, array element. Similarly, I'm going to use another concatenate operator. So in the array, so we have to use the array again. I'm going to use array. Alright. So value is having the index of this index and in the specific array. So let me print this. Now if you observe this, 1 is having the index of 0 in this is the array. Similarly, 2 is having the index of 1 in this array. And similarly, 3 is having the index of 2 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Similarly, and so on. This is all about the for each loop. So for iterating, we have few kinds of iteration statements in JavaScript. Those are the map function, for in, for of, and for each. So these are the different iteration, and I'm going to use first one is traditional for loop, and the next one is map function. Next one is for in, next one is for off, and the final one is for each. So loop, map function, for in function, for off, and the finally for each. So these are different kinds of array iteration statements in JavaScript. Some situations we have to eliminate the last or first elements. How is it? Okay. So for that specific indexing values, we have to use the for loop. So we can initialize the I value with 1, and we can eliminate the last index by using the condition less than array.length minus. Is it clear, Janardhan? For specification, we have to use traditional for loop only. This is not possible by using map for in and for off. By using these functions, we can iterate all the elements just it. So we are not able to specify the elements. If you want a specification, we have to use the traditional for loop. Is that clear, everyone? Just respond concepts. So how many arguments allowed in map function? Yes, maximum of 2. Fatima has responded that how many arguments allowed in map function? Maximum of 2. The one is for elements and second one is for index. Any other doubts? So first of all, I wanna say thank you to each one of you for asking the doubts. So when we are going to ask few kinds of doubts, that it's clear. Yes, it's clear. So shall I proceed with the further concepts? Shall I proceed with the further concepts? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And I will proceed. So, so we have to discuss the array functions now. We have different array functions. I will explain each one of them. Okay. So as we know, we have an array that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you want to check the type of this array, for example, type of, I'm going to check the type of array. So what we're going to do? So we have to use like this, right? So we are able to see if this is an object. Now it's visible. Voice is also not audible. So visible and voice. What about my audio? Audio is also fine, right? Yes, yes. Okay, okay. So some kinds of situations we are able to see the up and downs in the network access. So sorry for this inconvenience. So we will try to resolve this because this platform occupies or consumes more data. Okay. So here we used type of. So this is very silly. So we are able to see the object as the output here. So what is the difference between the object and the array now? So for example, I'm going to use the type of for this object. This is an object, right? So even here also we're able to see that output as object. So now we have to know what is the difference of it. So we use type of for array, even also to see object as the output. And similarly we used object. Even here also we are able to see the object. But how we are going to check? So we can able to see these are starting with the brackets. We're able to see the brackets. So first of all, remember everyone. So these are the brackets. So these are the parentheses and these are the braces. Remember. So these are not square brackets and these are not round brackets. Or these are not flower brackets. Or beard brackets. So these are brackets, parentheses and braces. Just so we have to use brackets for representing an array. We have to use parentheses for representing a function. We have to use braces for representing an object. So this is the difference. Brackets, parentheses and braces. That's it. So these are not flower brackets. These are not beard brackets. So these are just braces. Braces, parentheses and brackets. That's it. Okay, clear. So now we are able to see the object here, but how we are going to check whether this is an array or not? We are not able to see that array, right? So we have another function that is array. The first function of an array is array. So let me use. So I am going to use array. Array is a function, so we have to use, this is a class name. Array dot. So we have to use is array. And this is a function. Remember everyone, this is a function. So array dot is array, and we have to use the brackets. Brackets are nothing but it represents the array. And very similar to this, when we are going to use the object, this is the false statement. So by using the array dot is array function, we can check that whether the array is a specific array or not, whether that is array or an object. So we can use array dot is array function. So this is the first function. Array dot is array is the first function. So let me note down each and every point here. Array functions. And I'm going to use array dot is array. That is the first function. Array dot is array. This is the first function. It returns only the true or false. It returns the Boolean values. Boolean values. Once that it returns true, that means parameter is an array. And similarly, if the statement returns false, it means the parameter is not an array. So remember everyone, so we mentioning each and every point here. So we will pick very few of you candidates to explain each and every concept here. So because this document is very, very important, so we will assign each and every topic to a specific student. So we will pick few trainers or few students from the attendees list. and you have to document it. For example, when going to select a specific person, something like Janardhan is there, Chaitan there, and Divya is there. So, and similarly, Bharat Singh Harit is there. So we have give a topic for the Chetan. So he need to do document for this documented right. So he need to write in this document because this document is shareable to each one of you. So that is a very easy to understand. The statements are very easy to understand. Don't copy the statements from any other blogs or any other tutorials. It's better to prepare by your own. So that reflects your knowledge here. So I hope you might be understand. Right? So we will give you a small concept to each one of you. You have to do the documentation on it. So because this documentation is very important for each one of us. So and the next function. So the next function is slice function here. So let me print the array. This is the array. I'm going to use a slice function. So we can slice the number of elements from an array. So let me use dot slice. Slicing is nothing but we can cut that array into multiple pieces. So I'm going to cut a piece of the array by using I'm going to represent two parameters here. The first parameter is index. For example, I'm going to mention 2. That means we can get all the elements from the 3 because 3 is having the second index. Similarly, after this, I'm going to get only 3 values of it. So yes, so this is the last index of it. So this is the last index of it. So we are using array.slice function. This is the starting index and this is the ending index. So let me execute. Now we are able to see 3 as the answer. Very similar to this, I'm going to use 0 and 3 or 0 and 4. That means from the starting onwards, we are able to see all the elements within the final index, that is 4. So 4 is nothing but the fourth index. 0 is nothing but the first index. So we can get all the values starting from 0 and to the third index because 4 is the maximum limit here. So we can get the third index up to. So 0, 1, 2, 3. We can get these values. Not 4 because 4 is the maximum value here. So this is the maximum limit. So that is the reason what we have to do. We have to use the starting index and this is the last index. So this is all about the slice function. Slice function is nothing but we can cut that array into pieces. So we have to use two kinds of parameters. Those are starting index and the ending index. Right? So the slice function. So we have to pass two parameters here. So what are the two parameters? Starting position and ending position. So we have to specify the indexes for the slides. So next function is find method. So if we want to find an element from the array, so we have this find method. So I am going to use a find method here. So we have an array, right? So that is available in the array, and I'm going to use find method array dot find method. So find method, and we have to mention the condition here. The condition is very, very important. So here I'm going to pass a parameter. So that is n. Alright, so I'm just using n. So I'm going to print all the values that are greater than 2 or greater than 5. I'm going to print all the values, those are greater than 5. So I'm going to use a return statement here. So that is n greater than 5. So what are the values greater than 5? The first value will be displayed here. So what is the first value? That is 6. So this is the maximum value then comparing to 5. So by using find method, we can get only one value. Whereas if you want to get all the elements, that is 6, 7, 8. If you want to get all the elements, we have to use filter method. Find and filter are very similar, but by using find, we can get only one value, that is single. But by using filter method, we can get multiple values. So let me use that array dot filter method, and again I'm going to use same kind of condition, that is n, and I'm going to use return n greater than 5. So if we observe this, we are able to see the multiple values which are matching the specific condition. But this is a small difference. Find method returns only one value, but the filter method returns multiple values which are matching to the specific condition. So this is the difference, find and filter. So we return a value which is match to a specific condition. Similarly, this is the opposite method. So this is very similar to the find method. Similar to find method, but we can get multiple values. Alright, so this is very similar to the, but we can get multiple values. So is that clear, everyone? Are you able to follow? So responded yes. Chetan responded yes. So is it clear, everyone? Are you able to follow? Able to understand the concepts? Array functions. Yes, clear. Okay. Yes. Okay. So till now, how many functions? How many functions we discussed up to now? Four functions. Yes. The first one is array dot is array, and the second one is slice. Third one is find method, and the final one is method. Here which are mutable. Yes. So which are unmutable? So there is no concept actually, but we will explain it also. So mutable and unmutable. So we are not having any kind of unmutable because we are modifying all the elements of an array. All right. So we can consider that array dot is array is unmutable function. So because we are not able to change the values of the array, right? So we can just check whether this is an array or not. That's it. So simply we can say array dot is array function is not an unmutable function. So remaining all the elements are mutable functions because we are able to change it, right? So by using it and do some kind of modifications, we are able to get the result by applying a specific condition. Alright, so we are able to mutable. We are able to edit the values. Okay. So the next function, so the filter function, and the next function is slice is also completed, right? So we have to use filter method now. Yes, filter is also completed. Yes, the next function is includes. So let me check array. Yes, array, that's okay. And includes is nothing but, so we have to check whether the element is available in the array or not. So for that we have to use array dot includes. It returns boolean value, either true or false. So I'm going to use includes, and I'm going to use 8 or 6. So 6, I just use 6. I'm able to see true. So I'm going to use 0. 0 is not available. So we're able to see false. And similarly, 10. 10 is also not available, right? So we're able to see false. So includes means we can get the Boolean value, whether the element is exists in the given array. So this is all about the includes function. And the next function is pop method. Pop is for removing the last of an array. So we can use array.pop method. So 8 removed. Let me print the array. So the 8 was removed, and we are able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let me remove the last item again by using array.pop method again. So now the 7 will be removed. Yes. Now let me print the array. Yes, the last element gets removed. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. And very similar to this, so we can use push method. By using push method, we can add an element to the ending of the array. So for example, I'm going to add array.push method, and I'm going to add an element that is 7. 7 gets added, and let me print the array, and we're able to see 7 in the last of the array. And similarly, I'm going to use array.push function again. Again, I'm going to use 8. Alright, so again, I'm going to check the array. Let me print. Now we are able to see the array elements are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so very similar. So we can add the elements in the beginning. So we discussed how we are going to add or how we are going to remove elements from the last, from the ending of the array. Now I'm going to tell you how to add the elements in the beginning. So for adding or for removing, we have to use shift method. So I'm going to remove the first element. First of all, let me print the array. I'm going to remove the first element. So that is array dot shift method. I'm going to use shift method. Let me print 1 is removed. Let me print the array again. Yes, elements. Similarly, I'm going to remove the first element again. That is 2, right? The first element 2 now. Now 2 removed, and I'm going to use array again, and the first elements are removed. Alright, if you want to add that, we have to use array.unshift. Array.unshift, and we can use specific index. So let me print. So remember, so when we are going to add a specific element, it returns the length of array. It returns the length of array. Now the length of array is 7. So and print that array again. Yes, 2 added. Now let me use unshift again. Unshift, and I'm going to add 1. And I'm going to print array again. Now we are able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is all about shift and unshift. So the pop method and push method, we discussed about it, and shift and unshift. Pop and push method do the modifications from the last array, and the shift and unshift removes the elements of the array. Alright. Similarly, if you want to convert all the array elements into a string kind of data, so we have to use array dot toString. So S is capital here. Remember, array dot toString. So toString is the function. Now we are able to see all the results in a string format. If you want to convert the array elements into a string kind of data, we have to use array.toString. And very similar to this, most of the people are getting few kinds of doubts. Most of the people are asking me few kinds of doubts. So how we are going to delete a specific element from an array? So this is so when we are going to deliver the concepts to JavaScript. So when we are going to deal with the array function, most of the people are getting doubts. So one of the most frequently asked question is how to delete an element from a specific array. For example, we have an array. So we have this array. So if you want to delete a specific element from this array, for example, I remove this 3. I want to delete this 3. So how are we going to do that? So we have to use this index such as delete, and we have to use array along with the index. So what is the index of 3 here? So 0, 1, 2. 2 is the index value for 3. So once if you remove this, the element will be removed, but the place will be replaced with empty. Let me look into that. So unexpected identifier, DELET, yes, DELET. So yes, so delete array of 2. Just delete array of 2. Array of 2 is not what? See, that is index for the 3. So let me use, yes, the element gets deleted. So if you observe this, the element gets deleted. But if you print the array, here we are empty. With empty, we are able to remove an element completely. We use the index value and how many elements we are going to delete it. So let me use dot. I'm going to remove the empty here. So we have to use a splice function. Splice is a function removing element completely. So we have to specify the index value. The index value here is, and how many elements we are going to remove. Let me print array. Now the empty is removed from the array. So if you want to remove an array element completely, we have a function. Splice function accepts two parameters. The first parameter is the position, the starting position, and the second parameter indicates the number of characters or number of elements we are going to delete. So this is all about the splice function. So we just discussed delete, and we discussed splice function. So these are the functions we discussed up to now. And very similar to this, so we can use the index of function. Yes sir, your voice is breaking. See, slightly your voice is breakable. Not able to hear your voice properly. Array that includes only one element or more than one. Yes. So We can check only one value at the same example. So let me use multiple values. So we have an array, and I'm going to check what are the elements that are available. I'm going to use array dot includes, and I'm going to use multiple elements. So the 1, 2. So we are not able to get it. So let me apply the arrow. The arrow function. So even also we are not able to see that. Yes, 3 is not available. So even includes function accepts only one parameter. We can take only one value by using includes function. And the next function is index of. So array dot, if you want to check the index of a value. So I'm going to check the index of 8. So 8 is available in 6th position. Similarly, if you want to execute the index of for a null value, so I'm going to use index of, and I'm going to use null. So null is nothing but it's a -1. So if the element is not -1, for example, I'm going to use array dot index of 10. 10 is not available. That is the reason we're able to see -1 as the result. So if the element is available, we can get the index of the correct element, exact element directly. But if the element is not available in the array, so then we can get -1 as the result. Okay. And the next one is sorting. So when we are going to use sort function, it sorts an array in ascending order. So if you want to sort that array in ascending order, we have to use reverse function. Reverse. So this is the difference. Sort, reverse. So sorting an array in ascending order, reverse sorting an array in descending order. So we just used index of, and we used sort function, and the reverse function. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? Yes. Okay. How many data types can we use in array? So actually array is a homogeneous collection of data elements, but here we can use multiple data types array, where r equals to 1, 2, 3, true, false, null, object, undefined. Okay. So let me use array.length now. That is array dot length. Now it's 8. Let me display the type of null value. So what is the position of null? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am going to use type of array of 5. Alright. Array of 5. So what is the 5? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Null is an object. We already discussed. And similarly, what about the undefined? Undefined is the last. So I'm going to use array dot length -1. So that is undefined. We already know about it. Similarly, I'm going to check 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to check third position. So type of add of, so third position. So that is Boolean. So we can use multiple data types in the array. This is heterogeneous collection of data elements. That is possible in the array. Is it clear, Chetan? So now it's everything is clear, but we can delete it. But how we are going to add a specific element? How we are going to insert specific element? That is very very important. That is also very very important, right? So we know how to delete an element, but how we are going to insert an element? So let me take an example. So let me use the array again. So I'm going to add in the second position, in the sixth. So here we are able to see 6. So in 6 we are able to, we need to add one more element. So for that we have to use splice again. So splice is not for removing an element, we can add the element. I'm going to use splice function, splice. And first of all we have to specify the index. So what is the index we are going to use? So this is the index. So 0, 1, 2. That is the second index. And similarly, how many elements we are going to delete for adding? I'm going to 0. I'm not deleting any element. I just inserting a new item. So here I'm going to add 4. 4 is already there. Again, I'm going to add this. So now let me print the array. Yes, now we are able to see 8, 7, 4, 6, 5, 4, 2. If you want to remove an item, so array dot splice, I'm going to add an item in the third position, that is in the sixth. So that is fourth position. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to add 3. I'm going to remove that item. So I'm going to use 1. So 1 means we can remove one item, and I'm going to add a new item, that is 10. So let me print. Now let me use array. So if you observe this, 6 was deleted and newly inserted array, newly inserted element is added here. So here if you observe this, 6 was removed. Here the no element gets removed. So because we used 0, we used one element. That is the reason 6 gets removed. So this is how we are going to add an item in specific index position by using splice method. I hope you understood the concepts up to now. So is that clear, everyone? The splice method. This is frequently asked interview question. How we are going to insert an element in specific position? So for that we have to use splice method. Remember everyone, this is very very important. So we have to use splice method for inserting a value in the array. Repeat splice again for inserting or deleting. So Rajshekhar Reddy, just let me repeat. Yes, I repeat that. for removing insert. Okay, okay, okay. Definitely. I will tell you. So I would like to remove when so we have few elements are available 8, 7, 4, 10, 5, 4, 2, 1. These are the array elements. Now I am going to insert an element by using index position. For example, I am going to add a value in 4. So here we are able to see 4. So I am going to add a new element in this position, that is in the 4th. So we have to check the index value of it, this position of this 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the index position of this 4. To mention the position, so 5 is the position. If you want to remove an element, if you want to remove this 4, if you want to remove this 4, the 4 element will be removed. If you mention 0, no element gets removed. If you're going to add, so for that I'm going to use 11. I'm going to add 11 in the position of 4. So let me print this. Now 4 gets removed. 4 removed and 11 added. So let me print the array. If you observe this, in the position of 11, we are able to see 11. 11 gets replaced. In the previously, we are able to see 4 as the value, specific value for this index, and here we are able to see 11. And very similar to this, if you don't want to remove the item, but if you want to insert the element, how we are going to do that? We have to use array dot splice method again, and we have to mention the index position. For example, I'm going to add a new item in this position, that is 7. So 7 is in the position of 1. I'm going to mention the 1 position, and I don't want to delete any kind of item. I just insert the value. Based on that, the count will be increased. So let me add a new item. So that is 31. I'm going to add 31. Let me execute. So no item gets removed because we used 0. That is the reason we're able to see the empty index, empty array. Let me execute the array. Now we are able to see 31 as well as 7, 4, 10, 5, 11, 2, 1, all the elements. So here we didn't delete any kind of value. So if you want to remove a value, we have to use number of value we are going to remove. So this is the difference. Screen is not visible. Not visible your screen, sir. Now it's visible. Rajashekar. Now it's visible. Yes, yes. So are you able to understand, or shall I explain it again? Rajashekar. Can I explain it again? Just respond in the chat box. Repeat again. Okay. Okay. So yes, yes, definitely. So here, let me print the array first. So this is the array, right? So we have few elements in the array. Those are 8, 31, 7, 4, 10, 5, 11, 2, and 1. I'm going to insert a new value in this position, that is 31 position. I'm going to insert a new value in this position without removing this element. So for that, we have to use the array name, array dot splice method, and we have to mention the position of it first. So what is the position of it? The position of it is 1. And how many elements we are going to remove? I don't want to remove any element, so I just mentioned 0. And similarly, which element you are going to add in this position, that is first position. I'm going to add 32. So I'm going to add 32 in the position of 1. Alright, so let me execute. Now no element get removed. Let me print the array. Now 32 gets added. Very similar to this, I'm going to add array dot splice function, and again I'm going to add a new item by removing this 32. So I'm going to add 1, and this is the position. 1 is the position, and the next one is how many elements we are going to delete. I'm going to delete 2 elements from here. That means 32 and 31 will be removed, and the new element will be added. So I'm going to add a new element. So that is 33. So 32 and 31 will be removed, and 33 will be added there. So let me print. So now 32 and 31 removed because we mentioned the 2 elements from the position 1. So from the position 1, these 2 elements gets removed and the 33 will be added there. So let me print the array. Now this one, 8, 33. So 32, 31 removed and 33 will be added. 33 added now. Screen is not visible. So clear now. Okay. So the time is already 6:30. So we will continue tomorrow. So thank you for today's session for joining this. So Bharat Simha Reddy responded that no sir. What about this? So no sir means what is that? Again screen is not visible. So I think your face today's feedback link. So we already shared the link, right? So yes, where is that? Yes, yes, this is the feedback link. So let me copy this and copy and paste it. I think this is the feedback link. Yes, this is the feedback. Okay. So thank you everyone. Yeah.